The League Against Cruel Sports Scotland believes that the majority of Scottish hunts are routinely breaking the law. All of the footage you are going to see in this film was shot between December 2014 and May 2015. Fox hunting is an illegal and cruel sport. The aim of an illegal fox hunt is to encourage a pack of specially trained hounds to chase a fox and eventually rip it to pieces. Thankfully, after 80 years of campaigning and due to the overwhelming will of the Scottish people and the Scottish Parliament, hunting wild animals with hounds for sport was banned in Scotland by the Protection of Wild Mammals Act Scotland 2002. Under this legislation, an animal does not need to be killed for the law to have been broken. Simply encouraging hounds to chase a fox, for example, is illegal, unless it falls within one of the law's exemptions. In recent years, the League has consistently and routinely received intelligence that there has been widespread fox hunting in Scotland. When we carried out an opinion poll, we found that 84% of the Scottish public were in favour of the ban, but unfortunately, of those who expressed an opinion, over half thought that fox hunting is still taking place in Scotland. Our own contacts, intelligence and polling kept on telling us that the hunters were riding roughshod over the ban, so the most logical thing to do was to find out for ourselves. Hunting is not just cruel, it's a wildlife crime. So the League employs wildlife crime investigators to determine whether it's happening or not. We asked investigators, including an ex-police officer, to have a look at the 2014 and 15 hunt season in Scotland. And what they found was extremely worrying. There are 10 hunts registered in Scotland. Usually they meet 2 or 3 times a week between November and March. Some of their websites seem to describe their activities in the same way as hunting before the ban. Yet the hunts claim to be legally conducting their meetings through the exemption of flushing to guns. The difference between hunting before the ban and flushing to guns is crucial. So what is flushing to guns? It's a way of shooting foxes. The idea is to use hounds to flush them from cover, trees, hedges and such, into the open to be shot as soon as it is safe to do so. In England and Wales, the law says the number of hounds should be limited to 2. In Scotland, there is no limit to the number of hounds that can be used. The law is quite clear that if the hounds continue to chase foxes after they have left cover, then that is illegal fox hunting. If a hunt is flushing to guns rather than illegal hunting, there should be a dead giveaway: the presence of shooters with shotguns positioned strategically around the cover where a fox might be expected to come out into the open. Let's take a look at what we saw. On 17th February, this huntsman can be seen sending his hounds into this cover, but we saw no guns anywhere. On 24th February, this huntsman sends his hounds into this gorse cover, and again, there are no guns to be seen. On 13th March, these hounds enter an enclosed piece of cover. Given how open the area is, we would expect many shooters to be required. On 17th January, these hounds, looking suspiciously like they are already on the scent of something, enter this cover and come out in one of the places where you would expect to see a shotgun. They then move quickly on to a second piece of cover, where once more we cannot see any guns. The hounds leave the scene in a line. On many occasions, we saw hounds nowhere near any cover running like this, as they are trained to do when hunting a fox in open ground. And on 28th February, this fox was filmed being chased by hounds under the apparent control of this huntsman. The reality is that the League's wildlife crime investigators observed half the hunts in Scotland on 16 different days over the 2014-15 season and did not see one shotgun. On many occasions, hounds were seen out in the open following a line, as they are trained to do when hunting a fox. On 3 occasions, they were actually seen chasing a fox. And we weren't the only people out filming this year. In December, the Lauderdale Hunt was happy to post footage on their Facebook page of hounds on a line running in open country with no guns in sight. So, after receiving numerous intelligence reports that the fox hunting ban in Scotland was being routinely flouted, we said we would find out for ourselves. The hunt's own websites contained apparently incriminating evidence. As our monitors were investigating the general behaviour of Scottish hunts, we didn't expect them to obtain sufficient evidence for prosecution. But the behaviour of one hunt was so blatant that we had no choice but to take that evidence to the police. For legal reasons, we have not been able to show footage from that hunt. The League Against Cruel Sport Scotland firmly believes that the Scottish Parliament should tighten up the Protection of Wild Mammals Act Scotland. The will of the Scottish people and of the Scottish Parliament was to ban the hunting of wild mammals with hounds in Scotland. A small number of amendments would once again show that Scotland leads the way in ending this repugnant and archaic so-called sport.